Welcome back to Policy and Rates here on Depictions Media Radio. I'm your host, Michael Clogs. Okay, so let's talk about leadership. If you are a true leader, you don't need to boast about yourself. You don't need to put others down. You start to lead people by way of the examples of how you live and how you treat others. And at this point, you're probably like, well, why are we talking about leadership right now? Well, okay. Donald Trump, he may or may not be doing great things according to how things eventually get written in the history books. He may be written down as the worst president that has ever existed, or he could be written down as one of the greatest presidents that ever existed with the slowest start ever. We don't know. It's like there could be more future down the road for Donald Trump that turns things around and that makes him a great leader and that he opens the world up to greatness. We don't know that yet, giving him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, but here's my problem with him as a leader. The reason why he is so far not a great leader is because he has to brag about everything that he does and keep reminding us of the great things that he has done, which, by the way, don't pan out. He says that he has brought peace between Pakistan and India, but there is still the huge issue of Kashmir, that those two countries are still struggling over who owns that territory, and the other territories that are between the two of them, that they're still fighting over ownership and who has their sovereignty of those territories. Okay. There is the issue of Israel versus Palestine. A great leader would be trying to quell the violence and bring about peace so that hostages can be freely returned, and so that people who originally the indigenous people of the land can live there peacefully in cohabitation with the new people who are coming. Well, he hasn't even done that in the United States. He's tossing indigenous people, wrapping them up and hauling them to alligator Alcatraz. So he hasn't done that in the United States. So why do we expect to see that happen when he's talking to Netanyahu about Palestine? Okay. But he says that he has a great peace deal for both of them that isn't panning out. The Epstein files. Well, he calls them basic happy BS. Well, if that is true, just simply allow the files to be released and allow those who are involved to face the justice system head on so that we as the public can move past this issue. But he's dangling out there, keeping it in the news because it distracts us from looking at the fact that he may not be such a great leader. That he may actually have committed acts of pedophilia. Because one of the reasons why he doesn't want it out there is because his name is supposed to be on the list. Well, if his name wasn't on the list, he would release it. Okay, moving on to one of the biggest things that points to his question of why I question him as a leader. He is on a full-on attack against Obama, Hillary Clinton, and other Democrats. He wants them brought on charges for the what he calls the Russian hoax. Well, this isn't the first attack. This is one of many attacks. When he first took office, he had to say he had to fix everything that crooked Biden had done. That he had to tear apart what crooked Biden had done so that the people of America have a country. He had to take apart diversity, equality, and inclusion because that was hurting the real people of America. If a real leader wanted to change something, he'd change it and take credit for the change. Well, maybe not so overtly, but he would just simply take credit for that change. Not tear down or in public tear down what another person had done. You just simply change it quietly and move on. But he always has to point out how Barack Obama did this, crooked Biden did that, Hillary Clinton did this and her criminal acts. He has to put those out before he talks about what it is that he is doing. Not a hallmark of a great leader. A great leader does and lives his greatness. He does it with humility and he acts humbly and serves the people that he claims to represent. Being a leader is a point of service, not a point of control. Autocrats and tyrants are not leaders. They are controllers. A leader is somebody who mentors others so that they find the greatness that is within them also. Prime example throughout history, one, throughout the 20th century, we got to look at Winston Churchill because he didn't just rule with an iron fist. He led his country through one of the worst and most horrible times of Europe. One of my favorites throughout history is General George S. Patton. He won battles not because he pointed in the direction of where to fight, but he was at the forefront in his tank leading people into the fight. He stayed close to the front lines, as close to the front lines as we would like a general to be. There are other examples throughout, especially American history, when we look at people like Harriet Tubman. She led people to their freedom at great risk to herself. She didn't go around bolstering, oh, I'm doing such great things for people. She just did them. Barack Obama just did for people. Joe Biden just did for people. They took their service to the United States and the United States Constitution very seriously, and they led people on. Oh, well, while we're at it, since I sit currently in Canada, well, let's look at Justin Trudeau versus Mark Carney. Mark Carney, since he has taken office, he has said what he is going to do for people. He has told us how he is going to serve people. He has told us how he's going to try to make life better for the Indigenous people, make life better for Canada in general. He told us how he is going to send people to go broker new deals in commerce for the Canadian people. All Canadian people, not just a select group of Canadian people. All Canadian people, including those who are Indigenous. He went to northern territories and along the Arctic and talked to the Inuit people and their leadership about what it is did you need and how, and hopefully is incorporating those into the government's policy in Ottawa so that great things can actually happen for the country called Canada, or the Indigenous term for it, Turtle Island. So we're actually going to hear as he visited Kelowna, BC, and how Mark Carney wants to help the softwood lumber industry. But he isn't promoting what he is doing by saying that the Conservative government, the Conservative Party, would want to tear it up. As Justin Trudeau used to say, it's like they want to tear it up and put something else in its place. He's just presenting what he believes to be the best work possible for the people. That's what great leadership is about. Presenting what you believe to be your best work possible. In the words of John Horgan, his mother used to tell him to always do his level best. And he would use that term all the time, saying he was doing his level best to do what was great for the people of BC. That's what leadership is about. May John Horgan rest in peace. As David Eby surfaces, and we're going to hear from him today as he talks about LNG products and how they're selling this liquid natural gas to Asian countries, to an Asian market, to open Canada to new markets in a new continent. That's something, right? It's like, instead of trying to force feed a old market things that it wants to tariff. So why don't we get started? And we're going to hear from Mark Carney, David Eby. We're also going to hear from Anita Anand as they're trying to broker a deal with Mexico to build a trade corridor that would bypass the United States. There's a new concept. So why don't we get started?